Hi, y'all. I'm Shannon Mitchell, a Black millennial entrepreneur and Amazon bestselling publisher, author, and all-natural product manufacturer. I'm a champion for your natural self-care, sustainable business care, and overall intentional wellness.
Hey, y'all. I'm Christine Gautreaux, a white social justice advocate, an international speaker, coach, published author, and dancing social worker who helps you upgrade yourself and community care.
Together, we are a podcast rooted in the 8 dimensions of wellness and the co-founders of the Women Connected in Wisdom community.
And we like to get together every week for intentional conversations between us and special guests about how to be wise in business, relationships, and wellness.
How do we do this?
Yeah, I'm so excited to have this conversation. Okay, so you said you had a lot to tell me. What's going on? What happened on the trip? What did it have you thinking about spiritual wellness? Where were you?
Well, I realized I think we talked about it last week because when I came on, did I tell you about Lizzie guiding us on the hike
We did,
with
of course, of
the
course.
oaks? Yeah. So I kind
And
of
when I
lost
say
some
like,
days
where
in
are
it.
you? No, you're fine. When I say where are you, I also mean like, where were you in the experience? Like I was on the, the tour with Lizzie, and this is what I was thinking about spiritual
Right.
wellness. What do you want to tell?
Oh, right. Well, I was just realizing like how happy my soul was. Like, there are things that we do sometimes that light us up from the inside. And for me, that is travel, being able to be by the ocean. And, last week it was the Pacific Ocean and really commune with some amazing trees. I think I told you last week about the cork tree and then there were some ancient oak trees and the redwoods. And, my soul was just like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then
Mm-hmm.
to come back to Georgia this week and it be spring,
Mm-hmm.
which one of my favorite times of year until fall gets here. But,
Right. It's true. It's true. Yeah,
it
me too.
is, like,
Yeah.
been stunning this week with the
Yeah.
sunshine and the temperatures, and I don't know about you, but I've gotten to be outside more, and,
Mm,
mm,
yeah.
mm. How are you, and what's up for
Yeah.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I say I hesitate on the outside more because we've been getting outside, and I still took some time today, but this week I've been busy. It's like the compound energy of I shared before, the physical work of the different projects and spring
Mhm.
cleaning different places, um, even intellectually, we talk about how much can you intake before you need to put into action and then process what happened, And so spring cleaning and taxes and still having taxes to do and reorganizing things for the logistics. I'm super excited to restart like production and stuff for Shalo Glow, we needed it for the winter. We need it for the sunshine. We need it for everything. Um, and being able to walk Sino, my other business partner, y'all, through this paternity leave is such a blessing. That's such a beautiful
Right.
thing. And
Mhm.
being able to restart, I'm super excited. And I've just been wrapping my mind around this 5-year, um, timeline checkpoint that we're about to run through, with Shalo Glow in 3 months. The next quarter, right, is the start of the 5th year. And then with Women Connected in Wisdom, like we just talked about. And then here comes Connected in Wisdom Press after that, um, and building the systems. When I think about spiritual wellness and what we always thought about, I didn't know I was going to be publishing. I didn't know I was going to be friends with authors, but I knew God was going to use my life for something. So the plate is full and I'm grateful for the opportunities that I have.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always a big believer in gratitude and, really looking for the good, especially when times are challenging.
Right.
I got stuck in the Denver airport on the way home for 24 hours, and my practices served me well. Like, there are
Good.
worse places to be stuck, let me tell
Yeah.
you, because, first of all, for anybody traveling, Denver has on the 3rd floor, it has a mezzanine that has a rest and recharge section, which I first of all love the name of that, rest and recharge.
Yeah,
So you
I
can
love
plug in your devices, you have a beautiful place to lay down if there's a spot,
it.
and then this time I had time because often when I'm going through airports, I don't have time to check out the hidden stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Denver has 3 outdoor spaces that once you get past security, they're at the end of the terminals, and there are these beautiful outdoor spaces where your pets can go to the bathroom, but they also have these glass walls where you can watch the planes come and go, and they have gas fireplaces.
Mhm.
So it was lovely. It was like a little vacation. Like
Even more reason to get there early.
right?
Okay.
Right? To
Yeah.
hang out because 'cause they're at the very end, so, like, you gotta
Right.
know where they are.
Yeah.
That's one of my pro tips for people traveling. I was
Mhm.
telling a friend this recently. She's like, "I haven't traveled in a while." And I said,
Mhm.
"One of the things I do if I'm at an airport for any amount of time, I just Google, what are the hidden gems of such and such airport?" Because
Oh.
every airport has them. A lot of times nowadays, it's artwork. Like, the
Mhm.
artwork at Denver is beautiful.
Mhm.
I am biased to Atlanta.
Atlanta?
Still,
I was
Atlanta's
it's like a
still my
museum.
favorite. It's like a
Okay.
museum. Like, that artwork in Atlanta are like my friends because I see them so often.
No, I understand. Yeah, I understand.
But, a lot of airports nowadays too have museums. So
Mm.
when we landed in San Francisco, they had a Rosie the Riveter museum,
You told us
that
you
was
did.
in. And
Yeah.
then did I tell you we went to the no, so I forgot to tell you there was an exhibition at the airport itself.
Okay.
And then we went to the national park. But
Mm.
that's the other thing, right? I don't
Mm.
know, that stuff just lights me up. It's part of my experience of
Mm.
really just looking for the good in any situation, and it
Yeah.
was really funny. Funny,
Mm.
not funny, but
Alright.
they have you know how they have the billboards or they have the banners that are often across when you're walking down terminals, and in Denver, they have moving sidewalks.
Right.
And boy, we got our steps in because we were
Okay.
back and forth to gates, trying to get out, all this stuff, and
Mhm.
our gate was at the very last, so we probably worked that terminal 5 times if we walked it once.
Mm.
And there was this huge banner, and it was this gorgeous picture, and it said, "It will always get brighter, optimism," which, I loved. I was like, "Oh, it's a sign." And my 22-year-old, every time we'd pass that sign, would look at me and give this look. It was and then we got home to the Atlanta airport, same billboard. I was
What she
like,
do?
"Alright now." I got the look. I got the,
No.
"You're being too cheery in this situation" look.
How do you think I got this far? Okay, listen.
Right?
Yes.
Because I just considered it a grand adventure.
Yes. Yes,
Because
and
to
I
me,
lo
that's what life is.
and if it wasn't like, I keep saying in the past few weeks, like a Aunt Joan adventure of a trip, like, that's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing, like, you thought you were going home? You thought you had just a couple flights, a couple of people to talk to?
Right?
No, baby, we have a whole 'nother full day.
Right?
It's
Full
crazy.
day of mother-daughter bonding time.
It's great. It's and a beautiful thing,
It
I'm so
was
happy
good.
you got to spend that time.
It was good. Well, and the other lovely thing is I opened the, International Interplay, Leaders Gathering, virtual leaders gathering from Denver,
Mm,
and so for 2.5 hours, I was on with my people online just having a blast, and I just couldn't quit smiling. Like, at this event, we had 9 countries represented, we had friends from all over the United States, and it was such I mean, first of all, I just always give gratitude for technology and how
right.
we can do our work from wherever we are. But, to be where I wasn't really supposed to be, I was already supposed to be home, and to be able to open this conference and yeah, it was joy filled. It was it was amazing. So I am still a little tired, but I am in a place of gratitude.
I think I'm very tired. I think I'm still very tired, and that's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, I think
Mm,
about living out our full potential every day. You woke up and today had today's potential, use that.
right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Well, how about I give our listeners the definition of spiritual wellness that we're working from, and then we bring our guest on up here. How does that sound?
Yes, please.
All right, let's do it. All right, y'all. Spiritual wellness allows us to be in tune with our spiritual self. This realm of wellness lets us find meaning in life events and define our individual purpose. It can be defined through various factors, including religious faith, values, ethics, and morals. Regardless of whether you believe in a particular religious faith, there is always something to be learned about how you see yourself in the world.
Yes. Yes. And are you okay if I go ahead and read our expert guest bio? Okay.
Please,
Okay.
let's do it.
Yes. Today we were talking to Atousa Raissyan, and she is recognized as a shaman, transformational heart-centered healer and spiritual guide, motivational speaker, and best-selling author, poet, and digital artist. Her passion is to help people light up by guiding them to release their traumas and reprogram their fear-based living to a more heart-centered, peaceful life. Atousa's extensive experience comes from years of transforming the lives of her clients to tap into their truth, heart, and experience their desired life, and in turn, the change in the lives of those around them. Because of this transformational experience, her clients refer to her as guiding light, life-changing, best teacher and mentor, game changer, intuitive gifted healer, magic. She has been featured in USA Today, NYC Journal, Potomac Lifestyle Magazine, Entrepreneurial Herald. She has been a guest speaker at numerous podcasts, summits, and workshops. Help us welcome to the stage, Atousa.
Hello,
Welcome,
hello.
welcome.
Welcome
Nice
on.
to be here. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. I know I pronounced your last name correctly the first time. I feel like I messed it up the second time. Did I mess it up the second time?
No,
Okay, good.
no.
I had to check. Y'all know I like pronunciation as I lift up our expert guest. So excited to have you here with us.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. So we're talking about spiritual wellness, right? When you talk about change yourself, change your world, activating the divine human, what does divine human mean to you? How do you help your clients with that?
Divine is a word I think people relate to more. I talk about that a little bit in the book, in the second book, where that space of being, that space of your existence, it's really people call it higher consciousness. There are people call it divine. There are people call it God. So it's whatever you can relate to better will help you sort of discover that space within yourself. So that divine space to me, it is the same as higher consciousness, same as God space, where there is the space of just being in existence, which brings the peace, the joy, the unconditional love from the inside. It's not oh, I'm going to be loving. Oh, I'm going to be peaceful. It just is.
Mm.
Beautiful. So I know we talked about practices. We talked about the different chapters of your book, right? And you just mentioned that you have not one, but multiple. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about the work that you've been doing, your books, and how you walk your clients through this connection process? Because it's a whole thing psychologically with perspectives, right? We're talking about spirituality. So what does that look like with the work that you've done?
It depends on where the client is coming from. Like you said, that was beautiful, actually. So if the client is already coming with a lot of past traumas, generational traumas, I mean, it's common. I mean, it's not like I always tell them trauma is not something that you had to have physical abuse, sexual abuse, things happen to you. Every one of us, we have emotional triggers, responders, that things happen in the past and we've carried it forward. We've carried it from our parents, generations before them. So those have formulated these characters, these personas, these identities that you're playing, those roles you're playing in your life unconsciously. And all of those have their own beliefs, patterns, and systems that it's working through. Now, if you're too sort of, I don't want to use the stuck part, but you're more in that play and you're not realizing where your truth lies, then I help them first with the healing of those traumas. And the way I do that, I use a lot of different modalities, but it's going inside. And I always say, I want you to stay out, and I'm going to take you in. You're going to see this character. You're going to get in touch with this character. Because a lot of times we don't want to see things. So no matter what, it's like, yeah. So that's why I keep like, no, you got to stay here. I'm going to show you the inside. And once they connect to those parts, then, I use different techniques to heal and release it. But then once those layers start coming off, that's where the more guidance comes of showing them their beliefs and patterns, giving them sort of, now instead of right, now that you see it, instead of right, you're going to go left. Every time this happens, instead of going right, you're going to go left. So we switch and reprogram those patterns. And then also work a little bit more to finding that space within yourself. And you're not sort of reacting with every one of these characters that you play in your life.
Very important. One of our, I think Lisa's actually going to be on the podcast this season. One of our future guests, she sent us this book, Embracing the Unknown. I was reading it when I was at the spa. In the part where there was enough light, I didn't realize that the saunas were so dim. But hey, shouldn't be reading it here anyways. It's okay, And part of what she was talking about is what you just mentioned, Atousa, right? Like you're frozen. She said frozen, right? You're frozen in this state. And then you defrost, you might unfreeze, right? You're realizing, hey, this is not working. You need that shift. And then refreezing. What is working? What's a healthy habit? Put that in and then freeze it there, so you can continue on with the rest of the work. And I can tell you personally, like this has been game changing for me when I realized, oh, you feeling like, hey, not knowing your mom for 12 years might make you ill equipped actually made it so that I was surrounding myself with women who would help equip me. And I had more variety than somebody else may have had because they may have just had one, two, or whoever was in their family. I had even more instead of in all cases, a less amount, So when that perspective shifted, the way I felt about it shifted, So I hear you when you say from the inside out. And I would love to talk about how you go from fear to choosing love and seeing magic. I think a lot of leadership, we talk about leadership, less than 10% of leaders being self-aware. We've talked about that with one of our guests on the podcast. So I see a lot of leadership coming from fear, right? And I'm really intentional about where I lead from. How do you help your clients go from fear to living in love and seeing magic?
All our patterns, everything, those characters that I just mentioned, those identities, they're rooted in fear. They're rooted in judgment, and judgment is fear. And once you start uncovering them and realize what the root cause is, those fears, fear of not being loved, fear of being abandoned, fear of not surviving, all those fears, there are these top layer fears, but then those root ones. So once they become aware, I take them through to realize it. And awareness, when it's aware, once it's there, you see it, then it's easier to accept it. When it's hidden, you're like, no, it's not there. But then when you bring it out and I walk you through to see, you realize how all of this has been connected to this one point. And you're aware of the whole process, then it's easier to accept it. Then it's easier to acknowledge it. And from there, you can take responsibility. Yes, I'm responsible for my life. It's not what happened to me. All those things, actually, like you said earlier, that is my choosing. And this is how it's helped me. This life has been my choosing.
Mm-hmm.
And those events needed to happen to get me here.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, then you give them those practices of love and gratitude. You were talking about gratitude. Then it just also starts coming more naturally and naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And then that shift happens. They go from that fear more to that space of love and gratitude. And they start to see it. They start to see it outside.
I love that. And I know we were also, before the show, talking about your book and that you have a whole chapter about practices and things that folks can, which I love that. We love practical resources. But you had mentioned exercising choice, which I wanted to hear about because I have a little section about that in my book. So I
Mhm.
wanted to hear your take on exercising choice.
Choice to me is everybody, again, that fear and judgment comes. We get attached to, I want this outcome or I don't want this outcome. But we're not seeing actually what our actions, what's going on inside. We're just like, I can't make a decision. What's the right decision? But you gotta, again, become aware. The reason it's hard to make a choice is because I want to make sure that it happens a certain way or it doesn't happen a certain way. So that awareness again brings you back to you. Now that you know that, let's bring a little trust in there. Even if you don't fully trust, just a little bit to let go of that wheel, just one finger, and then say, okay, I got to make a choice anyway right now. So what are my choices? You break it down. You break it down. Choices really just 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, doesn't matter. And then you sort of feel those choices. You can even, if it's a real, like I always say, try these things with mundane stuff in your life. You like your clothes, food, you want to go and grab a snack, all those things that really doesn't trigger you, then it becomes more natural. So if it's a physical thing, you just bring it to your heart center and you sort of feel it in that space. How does it feel? You put that choice back, go to the next choice. If it's, not a physical thing, you can put it in imaginary boxes and bringing that imaginary box to your heart center. So then you choose, hey, I went through 1 through 4 and number 2 really felt much better to me. What was number 2? Oh yeah. Okay. I'll do this. But then sometimes too, you look at number 2 and you're like, oh my God, this is the one that felt better. This is actually triggering me more now. I can't really do this. Say, okay, that's okay. I have fear right now. Accept the fear and say, okay, what is the easiest choice now? From these remaining choices, what's easy? Take one step and then it becomes easier and easier and easier to get to that heart-centered choice.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And you know, in every step you learn something. Even if you say,
Mhm.
"Oh, this triggered me more," you still may have been better for it from a lesson that was learned, and then, "Okay, I'm still more triggered, I'm gonna move on to the next thing." But at least you tried it. You could trust yourself because you tried it and you're gonna keep going and know that you have the guidance. And the fact that we have the opportunity to do that shows that we survived it? So, yeah.
Exactly.
I really like what I hear you saying in the practice of holding your clients where they are, like, "Hey, you stay here, and I'm also gonna take you inside?" That neutralization of what we can try to hold on so much, like, it doesn't have to happen to you, it's something that happened. You were the person there, you can witness it, like, look at it from a bird's eye view, that makes it so much easier to unpack.
Exactly. Exactly. Because it's there are two factors in there. One is what you mentioned. The other one, then if they go in, they get too involved in the story and not see it as well.
Mhm.
So when you come out of a situation and look at it, you can look at it a little bit more clearly. Yeah, this actually, everybody has a different perspective. I cannot stand in your shoes. Even if I come stand right where you are, I'm still not going to have 100% same perspective.
Right.
You cannot have that. And I guide them and they see it's like, okay, this person, yes, they did this, but they got their own stuff. Even if you go stand there, you're not going to know all that they've experienced and all the things they go through and their responses.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we were talking about it a little bit before, and I wanted to share to just hear more about what happened. And what I'm talking about, y'all, so Atousa was sharing with us that she had this injury, right? She had this injury to her Achilles tendon. And I always think about, isn't it Achilles that
Yeah.
had the injury in the Achilles tendon? Like, that's what they named him in Greek mythology. Am I correct in remembering that?
Yep.
Okay. So, like, that's a crazy story. I was like, oh my goodness, how did he get shot by a bow in his Achilles tendon? So, when you told that story, and you shared with us that you stayed on the retreat. It happened at the very beginning of the retreat. I was interested that somebody who's embodied and is in their body knew, I trust, right? That you knew this is where I'm supposed to be right now. This is where I'm going to stay. Walk us through what happened and how you made that decision and the perspective shift and the things that you got from that as a spiritual leader.
I would love to. That's one of my favorite stories, actually, especially since yesterday was not yesterday, Monday was the anniversary of the injury itself. And it was my first retreat, and it was in Tulum, Mexico. And on the first day of starting the retreat, the first hour while I was helping everybody, there was a freaky accident. I mean, even when I came back, the doctor said, I said, so did I do something like beforehand? She's like, nope, women, this is an injury for men and athletes.
Wow.
You getting it? It's just a freaky accident. So, and I knew immediately when I mean, like everybody in the whole room heard it pop.
Whew.
And, luckily I have no idea why. I had no pain at all. And, everybody was really concerned at, the people that came for the retreat. And the funny thing was that there was a person I met a few months ago and online. I didn't even know her. I just saw her work. I said, I love your work. Her work is solography and she takes these amazing photography of people. And we were talking and I mentioned this and we both went, had a dream. And then the next day I texted her. I said, listen, I know you just came back from Tulum, Mexico, but my retreat is there. If you want to come, come. And she's like, oh my God, I wanted to come. I was waiting for you to ask me. I said,
Wow.
okay, perfect. Come. And she's a healer as well. So as soon as that happened and before leaving, something was coming that, she's going to help me. I'm like, she's going to help me. Okay. I don't know how, but all right, we'll see. As soon as it happened, I'm like, this is how she's going to help me because I couldn't walk. And so in there, if there were places I needed to go, so I would point and like, go do this. And she would do that. And also all the, between the workshop days, I had people, plans for them to go sightseeing and, somebody needed to be there because when you're doing this kind of work, the next day can be triggering. So I told her, I said, can you please go on these things instead of me and hold the space for the people? And she did it. And for me, what was amazing for me was that, I never felt like so loved and supported. The people there it was in it's a hotel in Tulum, Mexico, and there are no elevators. I was on second floor and the showers were just big bathtubs. And I don't know, it was just me being in myself. I never had cards. Everything I needed, it just appeared right there. And the people there were just so loving, took such a good care of me. And I cannot say it. Yeah, it was
That's
just an
beautiful.
amazing trip.
Good. And it's been like, Christine, your comment about body memories, and the anniversaries of things, I think it's helped me be well prepared for so many things. Like, okay, just in case anything weird happens, like this is coming up, And so for you to be talking to us this week when the anniversary is a year, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy you've been able to have your healing journey and, we're able to do things and be supported and have what you needed show up for you.
Yes, yes. No, everything about this injury was for a purpose. Just there, the way it happened when I came back to the States, everything has just been like, wow, now, like I could see, like, yep, this is why this is happening. This is why this is happening. This is needed. This is needed. And it was perfect. It was all aligned.
Yeah. So when you say, and it's funny because you saying that reminds me of, Christine, what you were talking about Sammy's face with that sign, like her little scowl, you know what I mean? And you said it earlier too, so like taking people inside and then they start working on the accountability, right? They start working on the love and the gratitude. They start working on that practicing choice and then they see it show up on the outside is like the difference between those two perspectives from me. Like, I don't know if I would have handled that as gracefully. It's my first retreat. It's the first hour of the first day. Are you serious? Like, I do a pretty good job maintaining my attitude, but are you serious? Like, that's crazy.
Hey, y'all, this is a great place to take a break, take a deep breath, and hear from our awesome sponsors that make Women Connected in Wisdom podcast possible. Shannon, we are so grateful that Shayla Glow is the sponsor of the Women Connected in Wisdom podcast. And I wanted to take this moment to ask you, when you think about the people who use Shayla Glow, who are we talking about?
That's a good question. I think about 3 groups really. One, the group that's removing hair, right? So whether you're using laser hair removal, waxing, shaving, you got to make sure that you're putting back what you're taking out. The second group, I think about those with dry skin and the problems that that might cause, right? The scars, itching, burning, whatever the situation is, you definitely need all 3 steps, right? The exfoliation, making sure you're taking the dead skin cells off. The oil, putting in the moisture, and then the shea butter with the aloe, sealing it, helping you heal. Those things help both groups, right? And third, for the third group is those with chronic illness. You know, the story is personally from cancer and different diseases that our population is dealing with on a daily basis throughout families as individuals. So I'm thinking about my mom and my grandmother and those around me with the same generational ties, right? And what positive, healthy habits we can start to make sure that we're maintaining our wellness, especially because the skin is like the cape, the exterior, the shield for your immune system. So with COVID, we have to be intentional about covering ourselves. And those are the groups I think about.
I love it. And you know what else I love about your product? It's all natural, handmade, and it smells great, y'all. So,
yes,
yay.
esthetician tested. Yes, esthetician tested and approved. Yes. Yes. What about you? When you think about your company, what groups of people do you think about?
Well, you know, I work with individual coaching clients, I work in community classes, and with corporate teams. And with all of them, I use a strength based, embodied approach to help folks connect with themselves and access joy, reduce burnout, and build resilience. You know, especially during these times, I think we need it. I think we need all the hashtag partnership power we can get.
Yes. Can you talk more about that? Like the journey of, well, we talked about it a little bit. I
It's
don't know.
finding that peace inside. I think what happens is that, you know, because again, this happened, funny enough, we had another event,
Mm,
for different authors that I work with. Anyway, so, and it was supposed to be on Saturday. Now, the day before, 2 of the people got COVID,
mm,
and one of them, her dog had to go to emergency, and she stayed up, and the dog wasn't doing good, and she couldn't come. So, and again, like you planned it for months and
right,
months, and there's workshops and everything. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna
right.
go see how it is.
Yeah.
And then I texted one of the ones that was supposed to had COVID. I said, you know, you're feeling fine. She's like, yeah, I'm not. You know, I just can't be around people, but I'm feeling fine. I said, okay, so let's just go ahead and we're gonna Zoom you. We're gonna Zoom you in. And I took over the other workshop of the other person that her dog. So everything, if you don't sort of attach to those outcomes,
Mhm,
attach to those plans. Plans are nice. Okay,
mhm.
plan, but be open enough. Let go of that control and trust that whatever is happening, it's even better.
Yes.
It's even better, meaning it's good for everyone. Everything is for a purpose, and leave yourself that room for things to shift and wiggle and bring you the magic of what you're supposed to actually experience.
Mhm.
As I hear you talk, Tusa, I have this knowing in my body spirit also. It's also about trusting ourselves and trusting the universe, like that relationship, that it may not go according to plan. Often it doesn't, but that being centered to know we got this. We got this. And if we don't, we ask for help. and help appears. Just like you said, you had everything you needed, right?
Yes.
Everything.
Yes. Always. We're always supported. We just
Mhm.
gotta sort of work with surrendering that control, and we'll see that, everything shows up.
Yeah. And for me, it's been the specific surrender though, right? Because it's not just to anybody. It's not just to everyone at the same time. So it's knowing that, okay, God made me for a reason, right? There's multiple plans for my life. Now, if God is female, the different things like and questions that I still have, which is why I'm podcasting and not pastoring right now. Um, but that trust that when I let it go, it's not just floating in the air like Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I mean? Like it's in better hands, who are more equipped, more educated. Thoughts are higher than my thoughts. And that when I put my intention and me doing my best and showing up in my truth and my authenticity, like you're talking about, and then seeing what God does, the expectations are exceeded every single time, absolutely. And I by myself, it's not even me trusting me because I don't know. I mess up. I be loud and wrong again tomorrow, but um, by specifically asking for what I need and surrounding myself with certain community intentionally, things show up when I wouldn't have had them by myself, which is why I love Women Connected in Wisdom. Like her being able to come and hold space for your retreat is like exactly what you needed at that moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
but before that, I mean, even we didn't know, everything came together. And as soon as this happened, I'm like, yep, this is why it was the way it was. That you popped in and we agreed and you agreed to come and all of it for this purpose.
Yeah. And sometimes we don't see it immediately.
Yeah.
I've been having the conversation recently, like we see these things for our life and all of those things that we see aren't going to show up on the same day. So you'll have part of what you asked for. And then there's all this other stuff filled in the 24 hours. And then tomorrow will be another part. And there's all this other stuff. And that's why for me, like the gratitude has been so important. Remembering what else can I be grateful for outside of, um, the same things that I was yesterday, because you can't minimize everything. Everything is important and we're never going to be able to keep track of everything. But what was new today? What was different today that I'm grateful for? And that helps me tap back into that love from the anger or the frustration or the disappointment of whatever I thought was going to happen and letting go of the control of it.
Yeah, love and gratitude is one of the best ones. And I always bring it back, you were talking about God, universe, trusting and trusting in yourself. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
That space I was talking about earlier, when you're in that space, you are connected to all of that. You are
Right.
one with it all. And
Mhm.
that's the more and more, if we find that oneness, that we're all one. You
Right.
know, you were talking about preaching, all religions, the base of it is the same. There's one God. God is love. God is in everything. God is forgiving, and everything is part of this.
Mhm.
And that's what this has come to. You find that space within yourself and you're connected with everything and everyone. And that trust comes easy from there.
Mhm.
Mm. Atousa, I love that. Your latest book is Activating the Divine Human, Embracing Our Shadow as Well as Our Light.
Mhm.
I'd love for you to talk to our listeners a little bit about that. And I also know you're an artist, so I'm curious about how your art weaves in to your knowing and your
Mhm.
practices.
Mhm.
My favorite topic. Thank you for the question. So that book has a special story as well. So when I wrote my book, Change Yourself, Change the World, it was the first time I was self-publishing, and I did a lot of research. And there were things, the way people were doing it, that I was like, yeah, I don't know about that. And so when I finished that, and my clients, I know everybody has a lot of stories. And I said, you know what? I want to do it differently. I want these multi-author books to be done a little bit differently. So that was my first multi-author book as a publisher. And I invited the people. So it wasn't an open invitation that went out to everybody. I had a list. I invited them, and 11 beautiful souls said yes to it. And this Saturday was the retreat for that book. So it came out in August of last year, and it won some awards as well. This one got some awards, but my part of the book, I call it my mini book in there because it was a pretty big chapter, but it was talking about what it means to be divine human. How do you bring those two together? Because I believe we are in this state in our world and within ourselves because of that separation from our truth of who we are. And we've gotten lost in these fears and identities and personas and stories. So it's bringing that closer and closer together, and having that less of that separation. So that's bringing the shadow and light together. That's what the book is about. And the cover art for that, the cover art for my other book is all my artwork as well. I usually take pictures of nature. I'm always out in nature. And the way, back in 2013, I want to say, I don't know, a long time ago, when I started as an artist, I had no background as an artist. I always loved it, but I didn't give myself permission. Who am I to? I cannot be an artist. I'm not good enough. Blah, 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 all that self talk that people have. But I said, you know what? I'm just gonna start. And I started with just acrylics and pastels, and then that just sort of morphed naturally into digital art. And my digital is like pictures, and I do drawings on top of it. And I see it, and they all have, most of them have this augmented reality. So they come to life if you look at it through the app. And when you said, what's the inspiration? There are all these like Rumi poems, my own poems that, I'm doing the artwork, I'm actually seeing the movement and the song and everything in it. So there's a printed version, and it's what's in my head version as well.
I love that so much. So for folks that are watching, if you're watching on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook,
Mm,
that's a piece of your art right behind you,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah,
mhm.
right? It's
yeah,
stunning. It
You
is
could tell the style.
stunning,
It's beautiful.
right? It is
yeah,
absolutely beautiful. And I love that you have it available on your website too.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yes. And like I said, it's a free app. As an artist, I pay for the app, but the users, at least as far as I knew, if they changed it recently, I don't know. I've been using it for a long time, but it's
Mm,
free for the users. And like I said, most of the artwork, even on their screen, if they look at any of my augmented reality on the computer screen, they can see the video to start to play. Like this one actually
Oh.
has it. That's
hmm.
creation in motion.
What is the
And
app?
Arte Vive, Artivive.
Ooh, I'm gonna go check that out. I'm so excited. I love your Make-A-Wish energy.
Yeah, Make a Wish
Uh,
is another augmented one. That everybody loves that one.
Ooh.
Make a Wish is actually, again, that was my own sort of idea of, how when you're a kid, you have a dandelion and you blow on it, and, you
mhm.
make a wish for it to go away. And so I'm saying, like, make a wish to the universe and, see it like butterflies go into the world and make it happen, make it true.
Uh, I think it is so stunning.
Thank
I
you.
I
Thank you.
love I love hearing about your work in the world. Do you have any upcoming retreats or things that our listeners need to know about?
No, I have an upcoming retreat, but it got sold out. So I tried to have, I've changed my mind a little bit about having more overseas, retreats. I'm doing more local ones. So every like 2 months, I have a local one, either silent or non-silent retreats. And, yeah, no, just check out my website. If you go on my social media, you can stay up to date. My latest service is I put together sort of a mentorship subscription program that we meet twice a month. It's live, it's on Zoom live. I'm guiding them live. And then they also have access to me. There's a group app that I post weekly on there, several times a week, post guidance on them. So that's my latest service that I've added.
Oh, I love that. That is absolutely fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so every week we do a wisdom and action based on what we're talking about, right? So this week, Atousa, what are you doing for yourself, for your spiritual wellness?
For my spiritual wellness, what am I doing? I don't know. I'm already doing it. I
Mhm.
feel every morning I get up and as soon as I open my eyes, it's more of get back into me. And I start my day with my excuse me, my espresso cup and my doggy in my lap. As soon as I let him out and he comes and he actually waits for me to see me sit with my coffee. And then it's like, okay, you're good. I'm
Ah,
like, yeah, I'm good. And then he jumps on my lap.
good
And that's how
job,
I start my day.
because we're not spilling the espresso, okay?
No.
And me both. So beautiful.
I love that. What about you, Shannon? What are you doing this week?
I love what you said, Atusa. It's the same thing, like starting first, like really holding that space first before all this other stuff first. So glad I woke up. You know what I mean? Like, okay, what is today? What's my intention? What does God have for me? Is there anything that's still on my heart and making sure that I'm setting like the tune for myself? So I would say, um, space for the divine.
Mm,
Yeah, space for the divine. Just allowing space because again, we'll book out the 168 hours we have in the week. We'll book it out with all this other stuff. But I was watching this video about how meditation is not getting your mind clear. A lot of times we think about that, it's more focusing on things. So what am I focusing on right now? Like, what am I, like Atusa was just saying, calling in? What am I intentionally working on? Space for the divine.
mm.
What about you, Christine? Thank you.
Well, from our conversation, I would definitely hashtag practice choice. I loved that about really being intentional with choice. And then just this time of year, I mean, my practice is going to be being out in my labyrinth at
Mhm,
sunrise and
mhm.
watching the sunrise and being in tune with nature. Like spring, it to me, I mean, I tend to always be in tune with nature, but spring is just such an easy time to be like so connected in. I have a little sparrow. Are they a sparrow? No, I think they're a finch that
Okay.
is nesting on my front porch. And so I like to sit and watch them build their little nest and
Mm,
encourage them. And put my ferns up on my porch,
that's oh,
so
you have them
I'll
this
be
year? I was looking at them.
just went and got them this
They're
week,
beautiful.
and,
Good. They look
thank
good this
you.
week. Yeah.
Right? I just went and got them, and so I'll have more bird nests coming in. Because when I put up the ferns, I always think about them as bird condominium, like and my daughter was like, "Oh, those finches are gonna be mad that they built their nest before you put up the
Mm,
condominium." I told
mm,
them. I saw them looking at the corner of my porch, I was like, "I'm going to get the ferns in a day or 2."
mm.
So we'll see if they
Congratulations.
move. I
Another
like
year of
to
ferns.
I told
I have a
somebody this
butterfly
week.
bush
Oh,
that
I
the
just
hummingbirds love it. So I'm waiting for
mhm.
the hummingbird. Yeah.
Right, I do too, Atusa. I love it, and my dogwoods are blooming. I said to somebody, "I'm sitting on the front porch watching my dogwoods bloom." They're like, "Are they actively blooming?" I go, "That's the whole point, like, it's really slow when I'm just sitting here."
And yes, they are. They are
And they are
actually, yes.
actively blooming, even if I can't see it with my
Right.
eyes.
Yes.
But yeah.
What were you
Atusa,
gonna say
thank
about the,
you.
I'm sorry. I
No,
was
go
gonna
ahead.
let you finish about the birds. I think you were talking about them moving. What else were you gonna say?
Oh, no,
Okay.
just watching and being
Yeah.
present and
Mm,
sitting, like, I think that will be part of my spiritual practice this week is, And I tend to do that all times of year, but it's really fun
Mhm.
in the spring.
Yeah, it is.
So, Atousa, thank you so much for coming and sharing your work with us and your spirit and your energy. Just, we're so grateful to be connected.
Wow, thank you, lady. This was awesome. This was truly, truly awesome. Thank you. I'm really grateful for this time with you. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you
We look
enjoyed it.
forward
Thank
to
you
Yes,
for
more.
yes,
Yes, looking forward to staying connected.
for sure.
Talk to you soon. Hmm.
So fun. So
Mm.
fun. Mm.
She says so many good things. All the characters are rooted in fear and judgment. Like, I think
Mm.
about insecurities. I know people are insecure. We all have insecurities and things and opportunities to work through. And I knew that they were rooted in fear and judgment. I just don't think I had ever specifically thought about it that way.
Mhm.
And so when
Mhm.
we talk about noticing instead of judging, for me, that's helped me be more neutral. Like,
Mhm.
notice, don't
Mhm.
judge, like, notice what happened. Oh, yeah, if people were just noticing instead of judging, we could have a lot more conversations and things would be going smoother. You know what I mean?
Well,
But that,
and noticing ourselves first,
yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
what is happening there?
Yeah, it's important. And then like forgiveness, like forgiving
Right?
yourself. Okay, this happened. Okay, what are we going to do better next time? Or you did what you were supposed to do. You planned it. Planning is necessary. And knowing that it's not going to go to plan is necessary to understand, have realistic expectations. So, yeah.
Right?
Mm,
Yeah, and knowing ourselves,
mm.
we started the conversation talking about, being stuck in the Colorado airport, and
Yeah.
one of the things that was hysterical about that whole situation is, I'm a risk taker. I
Okay.
know myself well, I
Okay.
enjoy taking risk,
Yeah.
so that's why flying standby is not as stressful to me as it is for other people. Because, and I was talking to my daughter about this, and I said something about being a risk taker, and she goes, and, oh, on the way out, we had flown through Vegas, so this gives it context too.
Okay.
She
Okay.
said, "Flying standby is like gambling, and I hate gambling. You love it." It was funny, even in the context of this whole decision, right? Because we were having
Yeah.
big discussions about mindset, and we were
Mm,
having big discussions about, because
yeah.
she was doing a lot of fretting, which a lot of
Yeah.
people would. And I
Well,
was
yeah.
pretty chill, and my
Yeah.
being chill was frustrating to her.
Mhm,
But,
mhm.
part of it is because I've been through this situation before, so that
Yeah,
sometimes makes it easier.
it
But also
does.
my mindset of,
Mhm.
I have what I need.
Yeah,
I am in this moment. I am safe. I am dry. I am, in a beautiful location.
mhm.
May not be
With
the
family.
location of my choice. I'm with
Right, right.
somebody I love,
Yeah,
and there's things to see and do.
yeah.
And so, yeah, it's fascinating to me when we think about this, right? When we think about noticing who we are and how we
Mhm.
fit in the world and what our thoughts are and how to activate that part of ourselves. I love this. I can't wait to read her whole book. I
I know.
really
That's what I was thinking
I
about.
was
We need
I
to
was
read.
thinking the same. We have so many people that I'm like, "Oh, I wanna read that one. I wanna," but I'm like,
Yes,
"Ooh, I wanna read that
yes.
one."
No,
I'm like,
really, you
"And
know what
this
I
one."
mean? And that's what I think about, like, when we talk about publishing and authors, like, I didn't know that, but Shannon's dream when she was little, a library with we talked about the light, right?
Right?
The ladder
Oh,
that
yeah.
moved,
Oh, the
and
ladder. Yes, the ladder. And so,
now
friend, I saw that
yeah.
on socials the other day, like an IKEA hack to make that happen. So
Yeah, we're not gonna do IKEA.
when you get
IKEA
your
tried to
house
fall on
and
people, but
settled, well,
and I do love IKEA. No shade to IKEA, but be careful, okay? But I hear you, and it's definitely in the dream house. And now the beautiful thing is, they can all be signed, and these are people that I
right,
know. Like, this is Atousa's book. This is Rayleigh's book. This is,
right,
Dr. Sheila K. Collins' book. And they're
right.
all people who I know, and they're amazing women who have done amazing work and genuinely help my exponential wellness. You know what I mean? Like, help
Mhm,
me stay calm and centered and take my still points and know that it's a cycle of grief and of gratitude and of rest and work and all the things.
mhm.
So that place of
So
being
yummy.
and the divine, and just knowing
So
that things
yummy.
things happen on purpose is beautiful.
Mhm.
And like you said, really, that's my anchor. When I think about spiritual wellness in the midst of everything, I have what I need. I'm okay.
Mhm.
What's next? You know, that's the word. That's so. What's next? That's the next place we
Right.
have. So, yeah.
Mm.
Anything we can share with our audience before we get out of here for spiritual wellness this week?
I just think stay connected. Connect with us on socials. If you're interested in being an author in volume 3 of Women
Yes.
Connected in Wisdom, stories and resources rooted in the 8 dimensions of wellness, our doors are currently open for that. We'd love to have you join us
Yes, we
and
would.
tell your story. We love helping authors learn how to publish and how to learn how to write their bios and how to we have storytelling workshops. We have all kinds of fun stuff we do. And
Yeah.
we're looking forward to doing it with this third cohort. So check it out. You
Yeah.
can, yeah, just connect with us. We love being connected and finding out what's going on with folks. Anything
Yeah, we
else you
do.
want to shout out before we close?
No, no.
Episode 189. We're about to
189.
get next week. We start counting it down for heading towards 200.
That's a good point. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I'm excited for this episode. Y'all let us know what you think, what your takeaways are. We will be back live at 5 Eastern Standard Time. In the meantime, don't forget,
Be well,
be wise, and
be whole.
Peace.
Thanks for listening. This has been the Women Connected in Wisdom podcast. On air live on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern via Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be part of the conversation and get connected at womenconnectedinwisdom.com.